I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise a lot since it came out, and it's been so much fun. This is my first mainline Monster Hunter game. I have played Monster Hunter Stories on 3DS, but that's more of a Pokemon game than a Monster Hunter game. So as a newcomer to this franchise, I just have one question. Why didn't I start playing these games earlier? Seriously, Monster Hunter is kind of amazing, and I'm so glad I gave this game a chance. I know Monster Hunter isn't for everyone, and I used to think that I would never get into a game in this series. But with Monster Hunter Rise, something just clicked, and suddenly I've become a Monster Hunter fan. This isn't going to be a formal review, since I don't think I'm qualified to do that and I haven't played it for long enough yet. This is more of a first impressions type thing, only I've already played it for over 35 hours, so I might be past that point already. Basically, I've been really enjoying this game and I just want to make a video about it. So let's talk about Monster Hunter Rise. The first thing I should probably talk about is the combat. Monster Hunter games have always had very deep and complex combat systems, and that's also true with Rise. When I first tried out the demo for this game, I thought the combat was slow and clunky, but that's mostly just because I was unfamiliar with it. It's a very unique style of fighting, where button mashing is not effective at all. Instead, you have to learn the monster's attack patterns and know when to strike, and when to run away as fast as you can. So what I was trying to do at first was run wildly at a monster, clicking as many buttons as I could, and yeah, that didn't work. The combat is much more enjoyable when you know what to do. It feels so great to barely dodge a monster's incoming attack and unload your biggest combo right on their face. There are 14 different weapon types, and they're all extremely different from each other. And if you're a newcomer to Monster Hunter like me, my biggest piece of advice is to find a weapon that you like and stick to it. Because the weapons have such complex movesets and combos, the best way to become a good hunter is to master one or two different weapons instead of trying to use them all. The two main weapons that I use are the Sword and Shield and the Insect Glaive. I'm probably better with the Sword and Shield, but I really love flying around in the air with the Insect Glaive. Not only is launching into the air really fun, but it's also a great way to avoid monsters' attacks. I also love using the Sword and Shield's Wire Bug attack to fly high above the monster and then come crashing back down with a Shield Bash. I'm also trying to learn how to use the hammer currently because that's also a really fun weapon. Because there are so many different weapons to learn and use, the gameplay always feels fresh. If I start to get bored of hunting monsters, switching weapons or trying out a completely new one is always a good time. There's also something so satisfying about crafting new gear, preparing for a hunt, and then fighting a massive monster and taking it down. The gameplay loop in this game is incredible and it's really addicting. You hunt a monster, then harvest its parts to make better gear, which lets you face off against even tougher monsters. The replayability of this game is insane, and I can easily see how people put hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter games. Another element of the gameplay that makes it so fun is the Wire Bug. This is a new addition to the Monster Hunter series and it works really well. Using the Wire Bug lets you zip around the map quickly, climb up walls, avoid monsters' attacks, and even gives each weapon some extra special moves. The Wire Bug helps make combat more fast-paced and exciting, as well as making traversal easier and more enjoyable. This is the sort of game-changing mechanic that I hope gets added into the sequel to Breath of the Wild, because it improves both the fighting and the exploration. The Wire Bug is an incredible new addition, and I hope it returns in future Monster Hunter games. Another new addition to the Monster Hunter series is Palamutes. These big dogs fight alongside you, and you can also ride them around the map. Palamutes make exploration even faster and more fun, plus you can drift with them, and that's just amazing. The cat-like Palicos also team up with you. They can help fight and collect resources in the world. These buddies are like the icing on the Monster Hunter cake, and they bring the whole experience together. One of my favorite gameplay mechanics is the camera. Not only does this let you take awesome pictures of the world and your character, but you also get to take pictures of monsters which are used in your hunter notes. This basically turns the game into a mini Pokemon Snap, and I absolutely love it. The first thing I do when I encounter a new monster is pull out my camera and try to get a good shot of them. It's a lot of fun, and it's weirdly one of my favorite parts of the game. The level of customization in this game is extremely impressive. The character creator has got to be one of the most detailed ones I've ever seen. And don't worry, because you can also customize your Palamute and Palico. And beyond character creation, there's tons of armor sets available to craft, and later in the game you can even change the color of some of the armor. And with the huge selection of weapons, each player gets to create their own unique Monster Hunter experience. This is probably the most I have enjoyed a new Switch game since Animal Crossing. I had really been craving a new, massive, epic adventure to go on, and Monster Hunter Rise has delivered exactly that. Next, I have to talk about the visuals and the music, because both are fantastic. First off, the visuals are incredible. This has got to be one of the best looking games on the Switch. The amount of graphical detail is insane. The amazing art design is so beautiful to look at, and it's shocking that this game runs as well as it does. Capcom have definitely pushed the Switch's hardware to the absolute limit with this game. I especially love how unique each of the areas you explore are. There's the snowy peaks of the Frost Islands, the scorching sun of the sandy plains, and the beautiful contrast of water and lava in the lava caverns. Exploring each of these huge areas is so much fun, and they're the perfect locations to have epic battles with monsters. But out of the whole game, my favorite location is easily Kamora Village. This village acts as your hub area, where you upgrade your gear and prepare for hunts. I absolutely love the Japanese-inspired vibe of this place, and I love spending time here. Even within this small village, there's tons of diversity in the areas. I'm very impressed by the visuals in this game, and I'm amazed that this game runs on Switch. And of course there's the music, and man is it good. Almost all of the music has these really awesome vocals in them, and that really adds a lot to the game. The music is calm and relaxing in places like Kamora Village, but energetic and exciting when it needs to be. Some of the music that plays when you're hunting monsters is so awesome and makes the fights so much more intense. Between this game and Bowser's Fury, 2021 has already given us some stellar soundtracks. As for the story, there isn't all that much. As far as I can tell, Monster Hunter games have never really been known for their story, but what is here is pretty good. It's a pretty basic setup of there's a big bad monster that you need to take down, but the characters are pretty great and they make the story a lot better. The missions are split into two different sections, village quests and hub quests. Village quests are single player only and more story driven, and hub quests are designed for multiplayer, although you can still play them by yourself. I've managed to complete all of the village quests, but I'm still just starting to get into the high rank hub quests. I think there's still a bit more story for me to get to, so I can't really say anything final about that. And as for the difficulty, I think it's perfect. The hunts you go on progressively get harder and harder, and it always feels like a challenge to take on big monsters. I wouldn't call it an easy game, and it can definitely be intimidating to get into for newcomers. But if you have any interest in this game, I can't recommend it enough. I've been blown away by Monster Hunter Rise. It's been everything I wanted it to be and so much more. I'm so glad I've finally gotten into the series because there's just so much to enjoy. I'm sure I'll keep playing Rise for a while. In fact, it was kind of tough to stop playing the game long enough to make this video. And that's pretty much all of my thoughts on Monster Hunter Rise. This game has been a ton of fun to play through, and I really think this is one of the best Switch games yet. And I think I can say now that I am a Monster Hunter fan. But what do you think? Are you a veteran of the Monster Hunter series, or is Monster Hunter just not for you? Let me know down in the comments, and I'm gonna go play some more because those monsters aren't going to hunt themselves. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.